Welcome to video 3 of Agreements Level 1. In today's video, we're going to learn what to do when an agreement is broken. It's a process called clearing. Now, before we do, let's take a moment and review what we learned in video 2. Breaking agreements affects our integrity, our wholeness. It also affects people's willingness to trust us. The real kicker comes when we have broken so many agreements that we don't even trust ourselves anymore. Now, what would be different if you could easily return to the feeling of whole after breaking an agreement? How could you get more of what you want in your life? The clearing system is just 5 questions. Clearing agreements is about supporting at a deeper level and getting conscious of where you're getting stuck, about getting garbage out of the way. Clearing is not about shame, about being bad or wrong. What clearing is actually about is discovering. Where did you sell out on yourself? What pattern is keeping you stuck in your life so that you can become free? It's about identifying your missing piece so that you can come back to peace. Step 1 of the clearing process. Check for willingness. By asking a question, simply, are you willing to clear? Now, we always want to ask permission and set the intention for this process. Now, if they're not willing to clear this old agreement, then do you still clear them anyway? No, of course not. Do you choose to create new agreements with them? Now, if they're not willing to discover how they got there to breaking that agreement, then they are likely to repeat that pattern again and again. It's the path of least resistance. There's an old adage that says, cheat me once, shame on you. Cheat me twice, shame on me. So considering that it's likely to end in the same way, I'd say no in this case. Don't create any new agreements with them in this area. Another way to ask this question may be, hey, can we talk about an agreement that was made? Or just asking permission of some sort. Step 2, gain clarity. We do this by asking, did we have an agreement? And then backing it up with, and did you break the agreement? Or you can ask it in a different way, was there an agreement? And was it broken? First, you must ask about the awareness of whether you had a clear agreement or not. Did you, as the clearer, not form a clear agreement in the first place? Perhaps this one's on you. Did you know what the expectations were? Did you communicate them well? How often do you communicate agreements that are not clear and then get unclear results? How often do we engage ourselves in agreements that we cannot keep at the outset of making those agreements? From now on, this won't be such an issue for you because you'll choose to create clear agreements with those in your life. Next, we ask the question, did you break the agreement? This is an opportunity of acknowledgement. We cannot fix something that we don't first acknowledge. This is the first step to get through the excuses. Now, you can have your excuses, or you can take accountability over your agreements and get the results. You cannot have both. This first step requires repeating these first 2 questions. Did we have an agreement? Did you break the agreement? Until you get a clear yes or no, not excuses. Remember, it's not about guilt or shame. Rather, it's about ownership and power. Step 3, assist them into discovery. I love this step. The question we ask here is, at what point did you choose to break the agreement? Okay, so many goodies here. Let's start with, at what point did you choose? I'm assuming that there was an instance of consciousness or going unconscious, and then there is a moment of choice. Why? Because there's always a choice. It's never just an excuse. They want to discover the exact moment where they made a choice. Where did they exercise their power to choose and made a conscious or, again, an unconscious choice? Many are actually unconscious. It's like snorkeling in the ocean, right? You must come up from time to time to orient yourself. Otherwise, you'll drift off to sea. Getting conscious about your agreements orients your life for success. So at what point did you choose? Hint, it's rarely when they hit traffic on the way to work, all right? Usually it's maybe the night before, they realized they were out of gas and they decided, I'll just get it on the way to work tomorrow, it'll be fine. Sometimes they even often break the agreements at the moment that they make the agreement. How often is that true for you? Remember, again, this discovery process is about returning to wholeness and getting clear on the pattern. This is not about guilt and shame. Therefore, you want to stay on this step until they move to peace. This is kind of a coaching step. It's no longer about me, it's about me assisting you, knowing your peace so that you can come to peace. Well, I couldn't have done anything about it. Maybe you get that reply. Here's how I'd like to amplify that. Well, if breaking this agreement would have cost you $1,000 of your own money, what would you have done differently? Just to see what possibilities are there. And this is where we want to wait for that ring of truth. For me, if I'm going to go to the gym the next day, my moment of choice is the night before when I pack my gym bag and set it by the car or set it by the back door. Else, I'm leaving my life to chance. I'm going unconscious. So if missing my workout at the gym would have cost me $1,000, man, I would have done everything I could to guarantee my results. In conclusion, it's like I said before, you cannot change that which you do not first acknowledge. Carl Jung says, until the unconscious becomes conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Again, until the unconscious becomes conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. How many of us know those people running around in their lives using the excuses as if, well, that's just how life is? Until the unconscious becomes conscious. That will direct our lives and we'll call it fate. Before you watch the next video, I want you to ask yourselves these questions regarding an agreement that you have broken. Keep at it until you hear the ring of truth. I really want you to get clear on when you choose to break agreements. And in the next video, we're going to learn the last 2 questions of the clearing process. We'll see you there.